So we know the Patriots are headed to the AFC Championship game, and they have a plan to handle the high altitude in Denver. But do fans need to have a plan as well? Joining us now, Dr. Miho Tanaka, director of the Women's Sports Program at Mass General Brigham. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in, Dr. Tanaka. All right, so the difference in altitude from the 4 cities that are remaining in this NFL season is pretty drastic. Boston, essentially at sea level, technically 19 feet above. Yep. Fans in Seattle and LA, it's a little higher, a couple of 100 feet. But Denver's Mile High Stadium is, well, exactly that. 5,200 feet above sea level. So for folks who've never been to Denver, would they notice a difference when they get off the plane?
Yeah, so when we're talking about high altitude, most of the studies are looking at about 8,000 feet or so. So we're not quite there, but you know, for people who can be susceptible, anything over 5,000 feet can present a problem. And essentially what's happening is that the air is thinner as you go up in the high altitude areas. And so your body, there's less oxygen, and your body has to work a lot harder in order to transport that oxygen and fuel your activities. And so what people might feel if they are there is a little more fatigue, feeling short of breath, sometimes even things like headaches, nausea, lack of appetite, and lack of sleep.
So how long could Patriots fans expect it will take them to adjust to this?
Yeah, so if we're talking about some of those symptoms like the headaches and the increased heart rate, nausea, that usually takes about 3 to 4 days before your body kind of adjusts, and then you kind of, start to feel better. But if we're talking about getting to the root cause, which is, your body needing to produce more red blood cells in order to transport that oxygen, that takes at least a week. And to be at full capacity, we're talking about closer to a month.
Okay, that's unlikely to happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you said something interesting earlier. We've all been to Denver.
Yeah.
And we all said in Denver itself, there wasn't a huge difference, but you said you went to Colorado Springs, which is another 1,000 feet, and then you started to really feel it.
Yes. Yeah.
So that 6,000 feet was a big difference maker.
Right. Well, I think there are other things in addition to the altitude. So you have to think about weather, how humid it is. Some of those things can actually compound and make you a little bit more symptomatic. So I think in that case that I referenced, it was the middle of summer, and that probably had something to do with it as well.
And I know we talked to you yesterday about the team itself and the athletics involved here, but are you surprised? We now know the team's not going to fly out there till Saturday. Does that surprise you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think that, there's 2 ways to look at it. Some people say that you need a full week in order to be able to adapt. But if you don't have that week, then there is some data to support that getting out there right before is better than getting there maybe like 3 or 4 days before. And the reason for that is as you become symptomatic, some of the symptoms are not being able to sleep, not being able to eat. And so in addition to that, as you get further into that, it's compounding. You're feeling worse and worse.
Wears you down.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes you see people selling oxygen.
Yes.
Does that do anything if fans are going out there? Should they be buying these canisters of oxygen?
Yeah.
And is alcohol an issue?
Alcohol is definitely an issue.
Yeah.
So to touch on the oxygen, it can help with some of the symptoms, but it's not going to address the root cause, which is, the low oxygen levels and just needing more red blood cells to transport the oxygen. In terms of alcohol, this is a really good point. So one of the most important preventative measures for altitude sickness is staying hydrated. And this starts not on the day that you arrive, but 72 hours prior. You want to make sure that you're hydrating because you can really lose a lot of water when you're in high altitudes, and you want to avoid the things that can dehydrate you, alcohol being one of the main things, and caffeine as well.
Okay, Dr. Tanaka, thank you for that.
Thanks for coming in.
Those were important points.